With that, we'll move to next step. That is step 2, data discovery and mapping. Sanyogita, this is something you deal with very often. Everyone agrees the data discovery and mapping is the place to start, but the reality is very few organizations have a complete picture of where their personal data actually lives. In large organizations, it's spread across business units, vendors, shadow IT, and legacy systems that nobody really wants to touch. So let me ask you two things. First, where do teams actually usually get stuck when they are trying to map their data? And the second is, how do you stop the exercise from becoming analysis paralysis, where people spend months mapping everything but never actually move forward?
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. Mapping fails just because it's hard. It fails because it's treated as a documentation exercise instead of a decision making exercise. I have seen with a lot of organizations and a lot of organizations doing it. They start with a complete discovery kind of an exercise where they're trying to do automated discovery with discovery technologies that are in place, which just tells you how much data you have. But what are you going to do with what data you have, right? You know you're going to have personal data into your multiple systems. We need to know what do I need to do to make those 10 decisions for my organization to be compliant from a privacy perspective, right? Instead of going into these 1400, 1500 plus applications and trying to find out, right, where my data is in which application. Instead, what is the purpose that I'm collecting that data for? That mapping is very important. And that comes with a manual exercise of getting into saying that why I collect a mobile number. Is it to send an SMS to my customer? Or is it for a verification purpose or an OTP purpose, right? There would be genuine 50 to 60 genuine processes or the purposes, maybe for recruitment, maybe for payroll, KYC, marketing, grievance handling, all of it, right? Let's start there. The systems get attached themselves. So my intent, or probably what probably lots of organizations I think are doing wrong, is trying to engage into discovery exercises with automated discovery tools and all, and try to figure out what PII data I hold or how much do I hold. Instead, the in that probably if we just get to know, okay, I have these 200 business owners and they collect this data for these purposes. That's where we try to map ourselves, figure out whether I do need a consent, do I need to put a consent piece into it, and all of it, right? So it's very important for us not to aim for 100% accuracy or 100% depth of my data or the data landscape. Instead, it's okay to be 70% accurate on knowing your data, right? Probably an 8 week of exercise to take those 10, 15 strong decisions than to engage into an 18-month exercise of discovery and mapping and all, where we'll be further pushing it to ensure our compliances, right? So it's better to start with those 70% understanding of your data, try to put in some controls and all of that, than waiting it for a long time. So that's what I feel, and probably that's how I ensure organizations are managing privacy programs by not digging into data, but at least knowing what my data is and taking those 10 decisions from.
Thank you. Let me make that a little more practical. So if you had 6 weeks to get an organization ready, what's the
Yeah.
minimum data inventory you would insist on having before you started?
Minimum is okay, what are my crown jewel applications? What are my top 5 crown jewel application as an organization that I collect data from? What is the purpose that I am collecting the data for? May it be a name for identification purpose, mobile for an OTP. I would map those purposes and then go ahead from there, right? So probably working on my crown jewel applications and my purposes is the first thing that I would do for any organization to give them a roadmap for next now 10 months in DPDP journey by May 13th, right? For them to be at least a baseline compliant.
Yeah. Let me pick on one thing you have said. The goal isn't to build a perfect data map. The goal is to build a map that's good enough to make decisions today, while being honest about what we still don't know. Nobody really gets rewarded for producing a beautiful data map, but almost every major issue I see later in the assessment can be traced back to a shortcut that was taken right here at this stage during a data discovery and data mapping.